Today we're going to look at Evidence Me. We're going to look at it with a particular focus on home learning. As you can see, I've got the iPad up and I've got the web suite loaded up in the background as well. I've just searched the App Store for Evidence Me and the new app has come up. You can see it's got a slightly different icon on it if you're used to the original app. So if you can download the app or update your app, so it's got this icon, and then you can open it up from here, or what you can see I've done is I've popped it onto the home screen. And if I tap and hold down on the home screen, I can drag it into the bottom bar so it's there no matter what page of the home screen I'm on. When I tap on the app itself, it will load up and it will suggest that I log in. Parents can download the app and teachers can download the app, and everybody has got their own login. Teachers can create observations in the app and tag children, and they will be shared with the parents of those children, and parents can take observations and tag their children, and then those observations will be shared with the teachers of those children. So the parents and the teachers can use the app to collect and share data and observations. Okay, so I'm just going to pop my login details into the app now. So this is me logging in for the first time in this app. So when I tap login, it will download the important updates and it'll also download my data in. So the first time you do it, you may find that it takes a little longer than other times to access. While this is downloading updates, the other side to Evidence Me is our web suite. So on a laptop or computer, you can go to evidence.me at the top here, you can see in the address bar, and then type in your username, which is usually your email address, and your password, and sign in. If you don't have a login, or you're the admin and you want to know how to set up logins, please when you sign in go to this menu to the top left and click into the administration area. You then can select your school, and on the right hand side you'll see a list of staff. If you click on the plus at the top, you'll be able to add members of staff in. Returning back to the main home page by the menu, you can see on the left hand side a menu item called Learners. In here you can organise all your learners into classes and groups. This is something the admin is already likely to have done, but if you're the admin you can click on unassigned learners and upload learners using a CSV. You can import learners one by clicking on the plus button at the top on the right hand side. And you can add classes by clicking on the plus at the top of the classes box. If you select a class and click on the plus, you can create a group within that class. On the right hand side you can use this left hand column to move learners between classes and into groups. Learners can be in a class and they can be in multiple groups. If you select a learner and click on the edit pen at the top, you'll see there are two tabs, Learner Details and Parent. Here you can put the parent email address in to invite them to use Evidence Me alongside you. Once you've done that, click on Save Changes. On the left hand side you'll also see a link to Parent Share. When parents are invited to use Evidence Me, they're asked to confirm their email address and set up an account. In the Parent Share area you can see the children that have got confirmed accounts and resend invitations if you need to. The app has now downloaded all the data I need, so I'm going to go back to talking about the app. When you first log in, you might be asked for it to access your microphone and your camera roll, so allow both of those and set a PIN if it asks you. You'll then reach this screen, which is the screen that will normally open up when you open Evidence Me. This is the Create screen. In the background you can see whatever's behind your camera. On the right hand side you've got 4 buttons. If you tap on the camera button, it will take a picture of whatever's behind your camera and pop it into the media tray at the bottom. You can then tap on it to edit and create an observation. Once the observation is loaded, you can underneath the image click on Add a Picture, Video or Other Image. So I'm going to click on Add a Picture and take another photograph. I'm going to click Use Photo to the bottom right hand side, and then you'll see that both the photos are attached to the observation. To the right of this I can alter the date and time of the observation. I can also add tags and select for Parent Share if I want that to be sent straight to a parent's device. I'm going to cancel that for now. While I'm here, I'm going to look at how you would create an observation as a teacher. This would usually happen when you're at school. We'll then look at what the parents can see, and then we'll look at how you can create observations at the moment to send work home for children. In this example, I'm going to tag an early years objective, but you can select any objectives from the National Curriculum 2014. Work can be sent home as observations for children all across the school, not just in early years. Underneath the media I've got several fields. I can add notes, learners, objectives and next steps objectives. If I click on the plus to add notes, I get my notes fields. The notes fields are editable, and if you're the administrator in the administrator area, you can change the titles of the notes field or add more notes fields in if you like. You can select which notes fields parents see and which notes fields parents don't. I'm going to tap in the notes field and I'm going to start to add text. I can do this by typing or using the microphone at the button to record. When you've added in your notes, you tap on observation details to the top left to go back to the observation. Underneath that, you can click on Add Learners to select your learners. You can select from a particular class. You can see at the top here I've got doves selected. If I tap on doves, I could change to robins and then tap on learners and I can go back and see the learners in that class. So I'm going to tag Polly and pop that one in there. And then underneath that I've got objectives. So if I click on Add Objectives here, I've got all the objectives here from the early years framework, and at the top here you can see that's the framework I've got selected. Underneath, if I like, I can choose a category, so I can refine my selection here. So let's tag and select Expressive Arts and Design. You may have noticed that I've got two tabs, All and Suggestions. When I selected Expressive Arts and Design, the Suggestions title jumped out at me. If I now select the level, let's do 40 to 60 months and close, you'll see it happen again. So on the left hand side, these are all the objectives in 40 to 60 months Expressive Arts and Design. On the right hand side, these are the two suggestions the app has made based on my notes. So I put that Polly was mixing colours in the notes, and in here it has suggested that I maybe tag explores what happens when they mix colours, and perhaps chooses particular colours to use for a purpose. I'm going to go back to observation details to take me back to the observation. If I want to add any further objectives, I could tap on the objective and come back into here, and then I could change the category or the level and add further objectives. I've now tapped on Next Steps Objectives and I've added the early learning goal into the levels. In the list of all objectives, I can see shaded the ones I've got selected. To the right, I can see the suggestions, and it has suggested this particular early learning goal as a next step. I can tick that and then go back to observation details. At the very bottom, I can mark that as a draft if I haven't finished it or I'd like to come back to it. I'm going to tap on Observations to the top left to return to the Create screen. Along the bottom menu, you'll see Observations just to the left of the middle. If I tap on Observations, I'll be able to see all my recent observations. And if I tap on the first one here, I can go back in and edit it. You can clearly see at the bottom to the right of the image, it's marked as draft. When I've finished editing it, I can untick the draft. If I go back to the Create screen, I created that observation by tapping on the camera at the bottom of the right-hand menu. Above that, I could tap Video to take a video, an image from the camera roll, or I could create an observation without an image at all. All of these are very easy. Before I talk more about different types of media, I'm going to log out as being me and log in as being a parent, and we'll look at how parents can create observations in similar ways. I'm going to go to Settings, bottom right, and just log out at the top. I'm now going to log in as Polly's parent. I tagged Polly in a previous observation. You'll notice when Polly's parent logs in, along the bottom there's just three options: Observations, Create and Settings. To the right, Polly's parent can create an observation. They can click on the camera icon to the bottom of the right-hand menu, and that will, in the same way as I did previously, take a photograph and pop it in the tray. The next one up will allow the parent to take a short video. If you create an observation with videos, you get a 2-second limit, which is clearly shown to the top left. When you click on Stop, that media will go straight into the media tray. You can tap on it to create an observation. Above the video option, there's the option to select a photo from your camera roll. When you click on the Add Photo button, you can very simply select images and click on Select to add them in. It will transfer them across to Evidence Me and open them up in an observation. You can scroll across the media to see them within the observation. I'm going to tap back onto Observations. The top option on the right hand side will allow you to create an observation without any media. For the next part of the demonstration, I'm going to select an image from the camera roll. When I tap on the media in the observation, I can quite clearly see the little girl's face. So if you look down towards the bottom right here, I've got a blur tool. Now when I blur the little girl's face, I'll lose the original picture. So if I want to, before I do that, I can click to the top right to save the image. I'm going to tap on Blur, and then I'm going to hold my finger down over the face and let go. You'll see this now blurs out the image of the face, and I can click on Done, and it will ask if I want to permanently modify the picture. So I'm going to click on Save. When I tap back to observation details, that now saves that updated media in my observation. Now it may be that you've given the children a challenge to do at home. With this one, I was giving the children a challenge to use ellipses. If I photograph this child's writing here, I can pop this into an observation as a parent. I can tap to edit, that will pop it into the observation. You can see actually it's already rotated it for me, which is great. I can tap Add Learners, and I'll add Hayden, as Hayden was the author of that work. And I can, if I want to, also pop a parent note in. Once the note's in, I can tap on observation details to go back to the observation, and of course back on observations to go back to the create screen. If I tap on observations to the bottom left, I'll notice that some observations have orange kind of up arrows out of them, and one has a green dot. That green dot means that's successfully uploaded to the web suite. To the bottom right then, I'm going to tap on Settings and log out this parent. I'm then going to log back in as the teacher. Okay, I'm logged back in as the teacher and I'm on observations. Now I can see very clearly here that I've received a parent submission. If I tap on that parent submission, it will load the observation and I can see the media. If I tap on the observation media, once the media has loaded, you'll see to the bottom right that as a teacher, above the blur tool, I've got a pencil tool. And if I tap that, I've got lots of options across the top. I'm going to click on the pen in the middle. This will give me the option to generate a box. I gave this child a challenge to use ellipses and he's done a great job here. So I'm going to put a box around it and tap. Okay, so that allows me to highlight. I've got text here, so I could put a comment or mark or a reference if I wanted to. Okay, I've got arrows that I could use to point to further ellipses use there if I wanted to. So I've got various tools across the top that I can use to edit. Of course, if I double tap that, I can then pop some text in the box. Once I'm done editing, I can tap back on observation details and carry on working through the observation. Before I go any further, you'll see at the top it says Parent Submission, Approve or Reject. Now this is one I want to keep, so I'm going to click on Approve. Parents do not know if you've rejected observations. You'll see now that I've got an orange square with a little pen going into it. This means that I've put annotations onto the media. I can tap on them to see what they are and go back to observation details. Now under this, I can see the parent notes and I can see the learner that the parent has tagged. If I want to, I could add further notes or I could tag this observation with objectives. I'm going to add an objective here. I'm not going to use the early years framework this time, I'm going to use the national curriculum. I filtered it down to the National Curriculum for English, Years 3 and 4, and I'm going to tag Creating Settings, Characters and Plot Objective. So I'm now going to go back to observation details. So now I've added as the teacher the things that I want to into that. I'm now going to save that observation. Tap on Observations and go into Observations, and now you'll see there's a little orange arrow, so that's showing the upload, and then you should soon be able to see a green dot on that. Now while that was uploading, I've logged out of being the teacher and I've logged back in as being the parent. And you'll now see in the observations area that that observation's got a green dot to the top left, and it's also got a little pen and paper to the top right. And if I tap on it, as the parent and the child, I can see the objective that's been added, and I can also tap on that to see the notes and the markup that the teacher has made. This is a great way for parents to receive feedback on the work that children have submitted via Evidence Me. I'm now logged into the Evidence Me homepage. Here I'll see all my latest observations, and if I scroll down I can see some parent postcards, so parent submissions that I haven't yet looked at, and on the left a handy activity window to help me notice any messages or notes from comments from parents. I'm going to scroll back up and point out that there's a plus here, and when I click on Add, I can add an observation from within the web suite. I can upload media to this if I want to, so we'll upload a file. When you upload an image in here, you get the opportunity to use the cropping tool after you upload. I'm not going to in this instance, but I'm just going to upload it straight into the observation. I don't have the blur tool in here, but now this is in Evidence Me, I can access it on the app and blur if I'd like to. To the right here you can see a field entitled Documents and Links. And here I can attach a link to an external website, so let's do that. I'll just pop the URL in here and we'll display the name Purple Mash. Now you can see that's appeared in here. I can also upload a file. I'm going to browse. I'm going to select a PDF here and open. I'm going to browse for a second file. I'm going to attach a Word document and open. And then I'm going to click on Upload. All these files now will sit within this area. When I click on Back at the top, the observation is saved. I can go back into it if I wanted to tag a learner. I could add a learner here. In fact, let's add Hayden and save. I'm going to click on Back and go back to the home page. Just going to pop back into it one more time. And I'm going to remember that because I want those documents to go home, I need to come up to here and I need to make sure that I've shared that with a parent. So click on Yes there and Save Changes and then just go back again. Right, I'm now logging in as a parent and in here I can see the observation. There he is. And here on the right I can see the documents and links. So I can simply click on them and this will prompt me to download or open them. That will be that one. I can do the same with the PDF and with the Purple Mash link. I can click on it and it will open up Purple Mash for me. Okay, I'm going to come back into here. We'll now take a look at what that looks like in the app. Here's the app. I'm now logged in as the parent, Hayden's parent, and the first observation here is the one that the teacher's just popped in. So I'm going to tap on that, and if I scroll down I can clearly see the documents and the links there. So if I tap on the first one, what happens is it will open up for me in Safari in the browser. Once that PDF has loaded up, I can use the square with the arrows or the save tool at the top there, and I can save that to my documents or wherever I want to save it. If I come back out and go back into Evidence Me, here I could do the same with the Word document. So again, that will open up in the browser and then I can go to the top and I can save that. Back into Evidence Me again, I can click on the Purple Mash link and that will open up Purple Mash in the browser for me. Okay. Parents can access all the documents and the links that the teachers put in, but they can't upload documents and links themselves. Just as we come to the end, I'm now in the Evidence Me web suite as a teacher, and I just wanted to remind you that all of these observations and all of this data that you're collecting and collating can all be viewed visually in the reports and in the assessment area. If I click on reports to the left hand side, you've got a variety of reports in here. You've got a flight path report which will tell you the percentage covering of that part of the curriculum to this stage and forecast whether children are likely to achieve the whole curriculum by the end of a certain period. You've got framework coverage and progress which will clearly show you how the children are getting on across the year. You've got the Teach Next report which suggests objectives that you might want to teach next based on all the ones that you've tagged so far. You've got learner observation reports. This will generate a report of all the observations that you filter. So you could generate a report of all the observations for Claire or Harry, or all of the expressive arts and design observations for a certain child. You've got a coverage tracker. The coverage tracker will show you clearly in a table form where you've got observations and where you've got gaps, and this may help you plan what you're going to teach next. You've also got a cohort assessment report. This will show you the percentage of children that are at, above or below expected levels. At the bottom you've got an EYFS assessment progress report. This shows you which children have securely met objectives and the dates that happened. In the left-hand menu, you've also got the assessment button. Within assessment, you can create a filter, so you can filter by class or by learner, by particular year group or area of the framework. You've also got assessment snapshots for each half term. The assessment assistant takes the observations into account and applies a judgment against an objective based on how many observations the children have had. Here you can see that Thomas King has been set to emerging for communication and language. If I click on that, I can have a look at the observations that might match that curriculum area, and if I want to, I can increase or decrease that judgment. I can expand an area and I can expand a subcategory. Again, I'm looking at this currently for EYFS, but I could be looking at it for the national curriculum if that's how I'd set it. So I'm logged back into the iPad as the teacher for one last time. To the bottom left, I'm going to tap on Profiles. Here I can view the assessment profile on the iPad. I simply tap on the child's name, and then I go in and I can see the details for that child, and underneath I can see the assessment within each area. If I tap on an area, it will drill down through to the subcategories, and again through to the objectives. If I tap to go back up, You'll see just above this I've got a filter button, and if I tap this I could filter a particular area of the framework or a particular snapshot period. I'm going to come out of Amelia's profile and pop into Hayden's, and if you scroll right to the bottom you'll also see any recent observations for a child in here. You can tap on these to access the observations. My last tip before I finish then would be to look to the bottom right where you've got settings. If you make any changes to the framework or think something's not as it should, then come into here and tap Get Latest Updates. Above that you may also notice an option to enable left-hand use. If I enable left-hand use and then I go to the Create screen, you'll notice my icons have moved from the right-hand side of the screen to the left. Finally, in the web suite to the left you've got a fantastic help area. If you come in here and browse through the Evidence Me help sections, you'll find lots of information about how to use Evidence Me. You'll find links to our previous webinars which go into the assessment reports in more detail. You'll also find an area where you can click to contact us. Our support team are happy to help you and they're available by email and by phone.